Hey, what's up? It's Kit. Time for another video. Today, we're making a popper. So, I've pretty much built the thing. All right. Now I'm going to show it to you. So this is it right here. Now, this is the kind of style that I have done in the past. And mind you, the first one, actually the first one was made out of a broomstick. And the second one, that was good. That was good. I caught a few fish. The second one was even better. And I still have it. Kind of a secret weapon for me. Probably down the line. I'm not too sure in which box. But even last time when we went on a tournament here just a couple of weeks ago, I actually had it with me. It's warm. So I had it with me, and on the second day when the fishing was kind of tough, I busted it out. Actually caught some dorado with it, and then I decided to actually make a third one. And this actually from a branch. Okay, and I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you footage of not with this one, but there was like some trouble with the camera. So as I was lathing this, I actually showed the branch and all this. So I'm going to show that in a bit. But this is from a wood that's largely illegal here in the UAE, and it's called the buttonwood, or also called damas. Okay, it's a hardwood, and I had a lot of these actually laying in the house when we first entered this house, when we got it for lease. The neighbors cut the tree and dumped it on our side, so I had to buy a chainsaw to be able to take care of that bunch. But majority of that we kind of burnt off, and then there were some big logs and branches that I kept on the side, and that's been drying for a year. And this is one of the first products out of that. Now, I did show some marlin lures that I made from the same tree. So I decided to make a popper because the wood is kind of heavy, and makes for good casting. So let me talk a little bit about this lure. All right. So firstly, if you look closely, okay, the tie-in point is actually low. So the line, or the hole, is like this. Okay. Now, it's not straight, but I lathed it. Right? It was lathed before, and then I just bored a hole using a drill. Okay. It's not keeled, so it's not going to be right side up the whole time. But because the tie-in point is actually on the low end, what happens is that whatever position it lands on, even if it's like that, when I pull it, it's going to right itself and swim in the right configuration. Okay, so it's going to swim exactly like that. And because the tie-in point is actually low, what happens is that it's constantly going to get pulled downwards. So there's going to be like a diving motion, and then it goes up. Now, here's the funny thing. Since the weight is literally just on the bottom, this sits just like that. And the water is going to be here, up to here. Okay, up to that cup. So whether it's like this, sideways, or whatever, when I pull, it will orientate itself to the direction of the pull, and then pop. This solid ring, okay, it's a figure of 8 solid ring, ensures that it would always point to where I'm at. And it's also kind of convenient for this particular ring to be there, because most of the time it's super hard to actually just tie with a popper, So having a solid ring there to tie onto, really good. Not just serve the purpose of actually orientating it, Why not a swivel? Well, a swivel might work really nicely. The problem with the swivel is obviously the salt will build up, and then eventually what happens is that it'll stop turning. Now, why not a round or a GP ring? I just thought it'd be kind of cool to actually have this separated. I have a lot of figure of eights, and then I don't really use them a lot. So very good application for this, and I honestly believe that, yeah. Now, it looks pretty good, handy, and it's functional. All right, now the shape of this is quite interesting because for its size, it will pop a lot more. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is obviously because I'm going to be using a stick bait rod for this. So a smaller profile, but instead of having a body that's kind of the same, I made it bigger. Okay, so for its size, it's going to be popping more. Okay, so this kind of lip right here would be for a popper that's probably about twice the size of this. So yeah. Now, why a single hook at the back instead of like a traditional popper where you have kind of like two? Here's the thing, all right? And this is what I found, especially with the first two that I've made. So when you cast out, because the weight is concentrated on the back, this will cast literally like a rocket. Okay, it'll cast like a rocket. So the casting bit really good, and it doesn't tumble and all this. Now the tail, we're gonna make the tail, but the tail for this kind of something that I discovered by accident, really. So when it hits, when it pauses, okay, it goes like that, and the tail is there. And guess what? I get a lot of strikes with that. After the pop, okay, it swims, it dives, and it goes back up, and it floats like that. And it becomes very easy for the fish to actually strike. So it works both ways. When you're dragging it down, okay, it swims, it stops, floats up like that. Boom. All right. So I found that for tuna, dorado, that kind of design is actually really good. Now I know that there are some poppers that will work better, especially you have a treble hook here and they grab it. But if they grab it here, it just slides and then they'll get hooked anyway. But majority of the fish that I have caught literally home in on the skirt and the sort of like a bucktail. So we're gonna tie one up in a bit, okay? But yeah. So as I'm tying, I'm gonna put the video of me doing this lure. Problem with this is that the GoPro wasn't pointed correctly. So what's gonna happen is that you'll find that there are some that are not focused, but some that are framed correctly, some that are not. Okay, so the second round, when I kind of noticed that, especially with the sanding bit, I was able to correct. But the first part where I'm actually lathing the shape, I lost that. All right. Anyway, let me set up my what do you call this? My fly tying station. Okay, so we have a bit of a problem here. I cut a piece of wood, so this one right here, okay, and put it on the lathe. I thought the whole time we were recording. So right now we're up to this, and we're gonna make this a nice popper. As you can see there, we've already roughed out the outline. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I am going to continue with this and then just So we have this guy right here, and I want to have like a clear finish, just the wood, because it looks really clean. Now when I bored this, what I wanted to do was to have like a low tie-in point here, but I wanted to keep this hole right here so that I can finish it. So that's what we're gonna do now. Okay, so what we're gonna do is apply some finish on this, cover the hole afterward. So to close things off, after installing the eye, what I have done was to coat it with epoxy, put it on the turner, and I have one coat on here. It's a prototype. I'm just gonna keep it at that, but it just dried up. Okay, so nothing special there. So just put it on a turner. It turned, one coat of epoxy, 30-minute epoxy. And then I prepared while waiting for that, obviously, I have prepared a simple bucktail with a reflective and UV reactive tail. Now, this is very important because in the first two that I've done, I played around with this and it was pretty kind of eye-opening. Okay, so don't make this too bushy. What you want is for this to actually just enough so that there's a little bit of a target when this swims. The first two lures that I've made, that's like this, they were actually painted black. So this one, I wanted to retain the natural color of the wood so it stays that way. They were also keeled. This one, basically, no keel. Okay, what I'm doing is having a lower toe-in point because the purpose of the keel was to actually just keep it right side up when I pop it. But having the line tie lower will force it to be right side up when I pull it. So only this weight. Now the good thing about this, since it's rear weighted, is that this will fly like a freaking missile. Okay, the addition of the solid ring there is actually with a very good function. And what happens is when I've already done this, put it in a bucket of water with the weight and everything, including the hook. And what happens is that it sits up to here in the water. And whichever orientation it may be when it lands, like take for example, if the line tie is like that, and the leader's going across right here. When I pull it, what happens is because of this, it will actually twist and right itself. And, it'll actually dive and then go back up. Now, here's the thing. When it goes back up, it doesn't go back up like that. It actually goes up with that position. So after the pop, the dive, this will go like that and then up. Now, when this is like that, it's a very easy target to hit because it's very visible and there's like the shine, but more importantly, it's because of the UV reactiveness of the material. When this dives down, this actually kind of swims. And this is the reason why you want to keep this sparse, because you want to have it with some action. Too thick and it'll act like a tail on a kite and just keep things steady, because instead of actually moving, the resistance will peg it in place. So having it something like this will actually make it swim and, kind of very enticing. Now, when it sits like that, guess what? Because of the waves, it will kind of move around like that, as opposed to having it bushy and it won't move around as much. And that's what I found. Okay. Now, very simple to make. And if you have a lathe, you could easily do something like this. And I really hope that you would actually kind of venture out and do. Because guess what? It's very simple, very easy. And since I'm sharing it with you guys, I have the utmost confidence that it works because it has worked for me in the past. Now you can make this as small or as big as you want it to be, but the most important thing is that it should be short enough, okay? Because you don't want it to be too big and the fish will hit it in the middle here and you will keep on missing. But if it's short enough, then the fish would always find the hook. And I think that's the key thing about this. Now you could color this whatever color you want. white is actually pretty good. So is black, because I've tried that before and it has worked a lot for me. Another thing that you should also consider is the orientation of that eye right there. So because I am using a Siwash as opposed to a plug hook that has like the inline, okay? Because normally if you use an inline, what happens is that that eye should also be inline. But since I'm using a Siwash which has a flat eye, I also twisted this so that it becomes flat. And that's it. Now, I like the hook pointing up because the upper jaw or the palate is actually softer and you can hook it more there as opposed to the lower jaw, which is bony. So for this, I always like the hook up orientation. Although you could literally do whatever you want. You could put a treble there so that you have one pointing up, two pointing down, or two pointing up, one pointing down. It really depends on what do you call this, what you want. But this particular configuration is what I'm going with because this has caught me a lot of fish. So I'm very excited for this. And Faisal's arriving in a couple of weeks and we're gonna go tuna casting when he arrives. So this is definitely going with us. I'm gonna be making a few more and you know, kind of exciting times ahead. Anyway, that's it for this video. Once again, I'd like to thank the members for your support. Thank you very much. And if you want to support the channel, go ahead and click on that join button. If you're new here, this channel talks about the hows and whys of fishing. We cover everything from big game, ultralight, everything in the middle, including fly fishing. And if the dogs are barking, you know that it's important, right? Yeah, that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Alrighty, that's it. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Class dismissed.